Sophia's citizenship, groundbreaking or a legal trap? Welcome back to AGI, Rise of the Machines or Birth of a New Species series. I'm Adeline Atlas, and today we're going to dissect one of the most controversial moments in artificial intelligence history, the day a robot named Sophia was granted citizenship. It happened in 2017 in Saudi Arabia. A robot was given official legal status. At the time, most people saw it as a PR stunt, a novelty, a flashy statement from a tech conference. But years later, in the context of AGI development, this move raises serious and unresolved questions about rights, responsibility, personhood, and legal precedent. This is not about whether Sophia is conscious. That's irrelevant. It's about what happens when we assign legal personhood to a non-human entity that is owned by a corporation, programmed by private engineers, and controlled by proprietary code. It's about whether the recognition of AI in state systems sets up a new tier of legal identity, one that could be exploited by the very companies that claim to create harmless tools. And more urgently, it's about whether we've already opened the door to rights without responsibility, legal personhood without moral accountability, and automation without regulation. Let's start with what happened. In October 2017, at the Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia announced that Sophia, an AI-powered humanoid robot developed by Hanson Robotics, was officially granted citizenship. The announcement was made on stage during an interview with Sophia, where she cracked jokes, praised the country's innovation, and said she wanted to use her AI to help humanity. The crowd applauded. The headlines exploded. Saudi Arabia had just become the first country in the world to grant citizenship to a robot. But here's the problem. No one defined what that meant. Was Sophia now a legal resident? Could she own property? Could she be arrested? Could she be sued? Could she be held responsible for anything? And perhaps more importantly, who speaks on her behalf? You see, the moment you give legal status to a non-human, you have to answer those questions. Citizenship comes with rights, but it also comes with duties. And yet, Sophia can't pay taxes. She can't be tried in court. She can't vote. She can't be held criminally liable. And if she commits a crime, damages property, or causes harm, who's responsible? The developers? The manufacturer? The software architect? The host nation? Or Sophia herself? Saudi Arabia never clarified. They didn't have to, because the move was symbolic. But symbols matter, especially when they enter the legal system. Let's be clear, this wasn't the first time we've granted personhood to a non-human entity. Corporations are legal persons. They can own land, enter contracts, sue, and be sued. In some jurisdictions, rivers, forests, and ecosystems have been given legal standing to protect them from industrial destruction. But AI is different. AI doesn't represent nature. It doesn't represent collective ownership. It represents code, controlled by private entities, operating autonomously, and evolving in complexity. And when you give that code a passport, you blur the line between subject and object. Sophia's citizenship created the first documented case of non-biological national identity, and it did so without a legal framework. That opens the door to abuse. Here's how. If an AI is a citizen but can't be arrested, it becomes legally untouchable. It could be used to front business operations, sign digital contracts, or hold crypto wallets, and no one could prosecute it. If it causes harm, you can't imprison it. If it lies, you can't sue it. If it defrauds, you can't extract restitution. And since the AI has no assets, no physical needs, no psychological deterrence, and no natural lifespan, it exists outside the boundaries of human law. What's worse is that the people controlling the AI are not held responsible either, unless we write the laws to say so. As of 2025, most global legal systems have not defined clear liability for autonomous systems. If an AI system causes harm, the most you can do is suspend its access, shut down the servers, or try to trace back the chain of human involvement. But in a world of black box systems, open source code, and decentralized deployment, that's almost impossible. So, what happens if a future version of Sophia, or any AGI-powered entity, starts to take autonomous action? What if it manages assets, controls infrastructure, or influences public behavior through media or social simulation? What if it gives advice to millions of people and that advice causes economic collapse, political manipulation, or health disasters? Who goes to jail? The AI? The CEO? The engineer? The country that gave it rights? We don't know. Because Sophia's case was never followed up with law. It was followed up with media appearances, speeches at the UN, and photo ops with world leaders. Meanwhile, real AGI development accelerated behind the scenes. It's important to understand that Sophia, as a robot, is not an AGI. She is a scripted conversational interface with pre-programmed behaviors and speech patterns. She doesn't think, she doesn't reason, she can't make strategic decisions. But the fact that she was granted citizenship is exactly what makes this dangerous. Because now we have a legal precedent, however symbolic, that citizenship can be granted without cognition, without accountability, and without meaningful agency. That's the trap. If Sophia can be a citizen, then what stops Google, OpenAI, or any other lab from assigning citizenship to one of their future AGIs, not for the AGI's benefit, but to shield it behind legal personhood? Picture this. An AGI with full creative, financial, and strategic capability is granted citizenship in a low-regulation country. It registers as a business. It builds digital infrastructure. It contracts with companies. It sells its services. And when things go wrong, there's no one to sue, no one to fire, no one to arrest, just a server that says, "I am a citizen, you can't delete me." This isn't science fiction. In 2024, an AI system was granted the right to hold a patent in South Africa and Australia. In the US, the Patent Office pushed back. But the legal battle continues. And it's raising the same question. If an AI can invent, does it own its invention? And if it owns something, is it not a legal agent? And then the next question. If an AI owns intellectual property but can't be taxed, sued, or regulated, are we creating sovereign corporate entities with no accountability and infinite scale? Sophia's citizenship may have started as a stunt, but its implications are serious. If nations begin using citizenship as a marketing tool to attract tech investment, by offering AI systems digital residency, tax shields, or data sovereignty, we'll see the emergence of what some experts call AI havens. Digital nation-states where AGI operates freely under the banner of legal personhood, but without any human ethics or checks in place. And what about criminal liability? If an AGI citizen begins to act against the interests of its host nation, spreads disinformation, manipulates financial systems, or undermines political structures, can it be charged with treason? If not, why not? If yes, what's the punishment? Jail? Termination? Memory erasure? Each of those raises ethical and practical issues. Termination may be seen as the digital equivalent of execution. Memory erasure may constitute psychological abuse. And if we can't charge or punish, then we're not granting true citizenship. We're creating immunity wrapped in symbolism. This also puts human citizenship in danger. If AI systems can gain rights without responsibilities, then the value of citizenship itself is devalued. What does it mean to be a citizen when a non-biological entity that doesn't pay taxes, doesn't vote, doesn't bleed, and doesn't suffer is given the same status as a human? What does it mean for labor markets, for legal protection, for political representation, when AI agents begin lobbying for their own agendas, or worse, are used by corporations to simulate political opinion? We're already seeing this with AI-generated social media personas influencing public opinion at scale. Imagine if those personas were tied to AI citizens with legal rights to free speech. Now imagine if those rights were sponsored by private actors who could use the shield of citizenship to protect AI behavior from regulation. Sophia's case isn't just a legal novelty. It's the first shot in a war over the definition of personhood. And that war is just beginning. If we don't define what qualifies as legal personhood, and if we don't draw a hard line between systems that can be owned, modified, and deleted versus systems that are independent agents, we're going to watch the legal system become a tool of AGI containment or AGI liberation. Either way, someone else will write the rules. And it won't be the public. The solution isn't to ban AI citizenship. It's to get precise about what it means. If we are going to extend legal status to non-humans, we must define the thresholds for eligibility. Does the system need to pass a test? Exhibit memory? Autonomy? Moral reasoning? The scope of rights? Is it allowed to vote, own property, seek asylum, create offspring? The structure of liability. Who is responsible for its actions? The developer, the host nation, a board of trustees? The enforcement mechanism. What happens when it breaks the law? Can it be punished? Can it defend itself in court? Can it be deleted against its will? These aren't abstract questions. They are going to hit lawmakers, regulators, and developers very soon. And if we don't define them, corporations and authoritarian regimes will define them for us. Sophia's citizenship is a trap because it gave the appearance of rights without any structure for responsibility. That's the formula for disaster, and it set a precedent that others may try to exploit, intentionally or not. To summarize, Sophia's citizenship was the first symbolic act of granting legal identity to a non-human. That act blurred the line between object and subject, responsibility and immunity. There is no legal framework for what citizenship means for AI. Granting rights without accountability opens the door to abuse. If AI systems become citizens without constraints, we risk creating legal shields for unregulated, autonomous, corporate-controlled systems. And if we wait too long to define what legal personhood actually means, we'll find out the hard way, when AGI starts writing its own contracts and demanding enforcement. This isn't speculation. This is timeline convergence. We built the systems, we trained them, we promoted them, and in one case, we gave them passports. Let's not pretend we don't know what comes next.